Guys, what's going on? I hope you guys are well. I hope you guys are staying safe. I hope everything's good wherever you guys are. Guys, just to give you a little bit of an update, smash the like button on this video, hit the subscribe button. Guys, some big news. So Canelo has kind of gone back on his word and said that he will now be fighting a tune-up fight, which looks to be John Ryder or someone like that. And then he's going to fight Bivol in September. So he's not going to fight Bivol in May like he had said originally. He's going to fight a tune-up fight. Maybe that was what a lot of you wanted him to do. You were saying that fighting Bivol. I think fighting Bivol regardless is a bad move. But for me, a bit strange why Canelo's gone back on his word now, and he's now saying that he's going to fight a tune-up fight. I don't know. I don't know whether Canelo's confused at this point, or he's not confident. He's thinking that, you know what, I've come back from injury, let me have a tune-up fight. I personally think Canelo doesn't know whether to stick or twist at this point, because I remember Steven saying something a while ago that the walls are closing in on Canelo. And I think Steven made a really good point at the time, because the walls are closing in on Canelo, because wherever he goes now, it's a tough ask. If he goes and fights Benavidez and loses, right, his legacy is in a bit of a tatters. If he goes and fights Bivol, although it's probably a safer move because a lot of people expect him to lose to Bivol, I don't know. I think it's going to be tough for Canelo now moving forward. Canelo, it's not going to be easy for him, because there's a lot of young guys coming through, a lot of hungry young guys that are going to be a problem. And I kind of starting to see Canelo's getting on the other side. He's starting to grow old, and we don't know what this surgery is going to take, what this surgery has taken out of him. Canelo Alvarez now, he's not a young man anymore. He's in his 30s. You know, he's 33. He's not young like he used to be before. So it's, for me, it's going to be tough for Canelo now. It's not going to be easy for him. No matter who he fights, it's going to be tough. So I think Canelo has to be strategical now in his moves. Although I don't think the fans would allow him. I think there's going to be so much pressure. Even him announcing now that he's going to take a tune-up fight, a lot of people, oh, the cherry picker's back, he's a bum, this, that, the other. You know, there's a lot of pressure on Canelo now. And when you're that big a star and you're like the face of boxing and stuff like that, you're expected to be fighting top big fights. And that's what's going to be problematic for Canelo, because Canelo's going to be forced to take in big fights. But again, his legacy, you know, is on the line every time he fights. So if he fights Benavidez and loses to Benavidez, all of a sudden Canelo, you see, he's already lost to Bivol, and we saw how much that took a dent on his legacy. Imagine if he fought Benavidez and loses to Benavidez, how much that will hurt his legacy. Or losing to anybody at 168 downwards, how much that would hurt his legacy. And I feel sorry for him, because he is fighting like the best guys. You know, and if he does fight Benavidez, he's fighting the best guys that people perceive to be the best guys. Fighting Bivol is one of the best guys at light heavyweight, but he still doesn't get the credit. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Canelo does, because Canelo now, in that September fight, Canelo's going to have to fight either Bivol, or he's either going to have to fight Benavidez or Plant. Benavidez and Plant winner. And if that is Benavidez, then that's the fight that people are going to want to see. Now, personally, I think Canelo should take the Benavidez fight. And maybe Canelo has done this intentionally so he can think about what move he actually makes, rather than actually, you know, saying that, you know what, I'm going to go and fight Bivol right away. And rather than fighting Bivol, he's thinking, let me wait, let me see what happens, let me see what the landscape looks like at the time, and then I'll make my decision who I'm going to fight in September. And who knows, Bivol might have moved on. If there's no rematch clause in the contract, then Bivol might not want that fight. Who knows? But I reckon Canelo is going to decide, because if Benavidez fight is more appealing, like, I personally think he beats Benavidez, and that's a better fight. However, Benavidez is a riskier fight to his legacy, because if he loses to Benavidez, Canelo Alvarez, for me, his legacy will be hurt massively. So this is what I'm saying. All of these things have to be calculated, because if he goes and fights Bivol, you know, maybe he loses to Bivol, maybe Canelo retires after that. Canelo says, you know what, that's it, that's me done. He's got to be strategical. He's got to know what the right move is. His team's got to know, because everywhere he goes is going to be tough. It's not going to be easy now. So wherever Canelo goes, it's going to be tough for him. So Canelo, for me, at this point, see, when a guy gets 33, you know, I feel that a fighter has to become more strategical. He has to pick and choose his fights. He has to be careful, selective in his fights, because I'll tell you why. Because you're not the same. You know, you're starting to slow down. You're going past your peak, especially at elite sport. Once you get to 33, you're starting to go past your peak. No matter what sport, you are starting to go past your peak. You know, very few fighters are like Floyd Mayweather. Floyd Mayweather was different because Floyd Mayweather was a fighter that was a defensive fighter. He wasn't the most naturally gifted. He was naturally gifted, of course, but he was more a defensively minded fighter. He wasn't a fighter that was like Roy Jones, an offensive fighter. You see, the defensive fighters can last longer because they don't get hit as much. Canelo Alvarez, although he doesn't get hit that much and he's defensively sound as well, I do think Canelo will. I think Canelo, a lot of Canelo's game relies on fitness, not necessarily stamina, but fitness. Like, he's in very good shape, he's very well conditioned. He hasn't got the fastest feet in the world, so even if they slow down a little bit, it's not going to make that much difference on him. He relies on power, explosiveness, which I feel, you know, even though you'll get slower, and that, you know, if you get slower, that, you know, that your punches won't have the same snap or the same speed, which causes that explosiveness. But for me, I still feel that Canelo's style will age well because he lives the life and he trains very hard and he stays in the gym. So I think Canelo will age well. I don't think he'll get old. But nonetheless, injuries take its toll. So if you start getting injured and your body starts breaking down, that takes its toll. And Canelo looks to me, all these back-to-back camps, all these hard training camps that he's had, you know, he's had over 60 fights, nearly 60 fights. I mean, that has taken a toll. That is going to take a toll, because what you got to realize is, even if you're fighting somebody that's not that good, I mean, you're still training hard. You're still training, giving it 100%. So that's what takes it out of individuals. It's the back-to-back camps. And for me, that is what's going to, in my opinion, impact Canelo. It's the back-to-back camps that he's going to have to continue, that he's continuing to do. And I think that's what's causing injury. You know, training, man, even going to the gym, like when I go to the gym, and my training won't be anywhere, I mean, near as, not even a 50th of what Canelo would be training. You know, his training would be so intense, especially when he's in camp. Now, imagine doing that 3 times a year. I mean, putting your body through that much stress, that much pressure. I mean, as you get older, your bones get weaker. Your body starts to get weaker. And, you know, that kind of intense pressure, you know, your body's going to break down, man. So for me, it's the back-to-back camps. And let's not forget, the last 1 or 2 years, Canelo's been, he's been fighting he's been fighting consistently. I mean, 4 times when he became undisputed. In the space of what, nearly a year, he fought 4 times, which is ridiculous for an athlete today, in today's time. But that was because he kind of forced it, because he wanted to become undisputed so badly. He kind of rushed it. Because he just wanted to become undisputed. So what he did is he just decided, you know what, I'm just gonna go and become undisputed. And he in my opinion, was just like rushing to try become undisputed. And that, for me, at that age, especially as he's 31, 32, I mean, your body is starting to get older. You're starting to get aches and pains, and then you're putting your body through such intensive pressure. You know, intensive training, your body's under extreme pressure. For me, your body's gonna break down, and that's why I'm not surprised that he was injured. But even the fact that he was injured, he still trained through it. He still had fights, even though he wasn't 100% apparently for the Plant fight. Then he had the Bivol fight, and then he had the Golovkin fight. You see, he just and for me, that's a bit of arrogance from Canelo, because Canelo just thought he could go in there with these guys and not be 100% and beat them easy, and it backfired, because Bivol was a lot better than what he expected, when he needed to be maybe 120% against Bivol in order to beat Bivol, or have any chance of even competing or beating the guy. I mean, you know, you have to be at your best, and Canelo wasn't, and Bivol picked him apart, really. And like I said, that for me, that was almost arrogance, because Canelo has been suffering, I mean, in terms of his injuries. and yet he still went in against Golovkin and thing, and now he's had surgery. He's had severe, surgery, and Canelo. Every fight, a lot of fighters have hand issues. I don't know. I can't remember. Was it a knee? I can't remember what surgery he had, but he had severe surgery. I mean, and now he's waiting for that to recover. And we don't know whether Canelo's going to be the same guy. Like I said, surgeries are not good, but a lot of fighters, like I said, like Canelo, they put their body under extreme, intense pressure. And eventually your body's like I said, it's like it breaks down over a period of time. So yeah, let's see what Canelo does. Canelo has decided that he's gonna have a tune-up fight. What do you guys make of it? Leave your thoughts, let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, guys.